Hey, Dame here. I'm gonna kind of vent a little bit, and not in a sad way, but more of like a. I'm not gonna be saying much of anything that makes sense right now, but I um I struggle with spirituality, or I guess my idea or my meaning of it all. I feel like it's a common issue, especially for people my age, people where I come from, stuff like that. But I uh I kind of have it sort of concrete. So like what kind of brought this out of me for sure is lately I've been thinking about it a lot. Like and there's a lot of people that I greatly respect that are spiritual Christians, even Catholics. It's very God fearing people, and I'm like, well, how come these people who are pretty smart, and I might say smarter than me, and um, have their shit way more together. Like maybe they're right. But there's just certain things I can't wrap my head around. When it comes to Christianity, such as, um, oh my God, for example, like they have the understanding that, or some sort of misconception that the people in these biblical stories were from many, 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 many years ago, like kind of had a better sort of or a similar understanding to what we have nowadays, as in like as if the things that we have and we do and we say and like everything, like even if it was translated to their language, like it wouldn't fucking blow their mind. And I'm not even talking about like full technology. It's just like even like 100 years ago, most people were just primitive. Like um, being educated in first world countries is something that's relatively, not only is it still hard to find, but like it's really recent to get to the education. Like I'm probably of like average education to the U.S. Arizona I'm probably above, um, but to my whole like country, um, definitely not not above anybody in particular. So average intelligence or understanding, average education. That didn't exist till about, you know, shit. You could say like 100 years ago, but even still, then it was like more like 50 to 80. I don't know, 50 to 80 years ago. It's like so. Can you imagine how much? I wouldn't say stupider or incompetent, because these people were very competent. In a different world, more than I would be in that world. But like thousands of years ago, if these stories are true, like Adam and Eve, for example, the first humans, from which all life came from. To somebody that is fully indoctrinated in this stuff, is going to sound like stupid questions, but it's like, how does that make sense? How do you have two humans, and then now there's like, how can you actually believe that we've made 8 billion humans from two humans? Like, how would we actually survive if there was such inbreeding? And they like to make excuses like, oh, well, the DNA pool was different, or God made more humans. It's like, what is it? Like, it's so contradictory. Like, every single time it gets shot down, oh, here's another thing that exists that disproves or I guess remedies your concerns. Because I don't want to not believe. I want clarity. I'm just unlucky enough to live in a time where that shit just does not fucking exist yet. So, like I'm saying, like, what is it? So, I want clarity, and I tell you why something isn't clear to me, and then you're like, well, this thing exists and you didn't know about it. Why? Because it's either a different denomination, or it's a fucking not widespread. Like the in my head, like the Bible can't even get its fucking story straight. That's a huge fucking red flag, if I'm being completely honest. Like, I apologize, I guess that's blasphemy to some people, but I just dead ass can't even fucking begin to understand. And I'm saying all this like with a grain of salt. Like, I'm not this is not how I'm always going to think. I don't want to be stuck like this. So of course, I want to find clarity. I want to be, if I'm going to be an atheist, I want to be right about it. If I'm going to be a Christian, I want to be right about it. And like, I want to be objectively correct and believe it for it myself. Not for anybody else, but for myself. Because I'm a very skeptical, paranoid, and untrusting type person, which could be good or bad. But, ideally, I'm trying to keep it to a healthy sort of level. And that's why I'm asking questions such as these, like these humans, like, it's not fucking possible, for them to be writing shit out. And the reason why we are where we are is because, like, in this point, so one thing people I know say, it's like, oh, well, it's the most outliving religion out of all of them, which isn't true. If I'm not wrong, Judaism is the oldest of the, like, big three religions, and that's like the go-to. That's one go-to. It's like, well, it existed for so long, and everybody's believed in it for so long. We should too. Like, first of all, that's insane. That's insane to just think we should just do the same thing that people did fucking thousands of years ago, when it could really be holding us back strictly because of our we think certain things are blasphemy, which America isn't really like that. We kind of just do whatever we want. America's not, as much as it likes to pretend it's a Christian nation, it really isn't. It's just a lie to try to put some moral high ground on us versus the rest of the world, or to say we're some sort of moral hub and whatnot, and that we're good people. We fight the good fight and shit. It's bullshit, right? Everybody knows that. I don't need to get into that. But what I'm saying, what I'm trying to say is, what is the argument? It's old. Well, the reason why it's old is because, or why it's been in power for so long, is because there was countries that a lot of us came from. Like, there was no other option. Like, that shit's like modern day Iran, except it was like Britain, UK, France, shit. I guess maybe not France, but for a time it was France, where you have to believe in this religion, because if you don't believe in this religion, then you don't respect the king's authority, because God is apparently the one that put him there, and that's blasphemy, right, according to scripture and shit. But it's like, so you have to believe in God, so that you believe in the king, even though the king is twisting God's word. So first of all, like, even the people 2,000 years ago were believing in a lie, and now, like, it's more common. We could translate shit and make it more clear, but that doesn't make it like, oh, okay, now that we have the correct translations, it's right, and now we can actually worship what these people 2,000 years ago should have been worshiping, or were trying to worship. It's like, well, the only reason why it's been living this long is because literally authority, war, violence, and yada yada yada. Like, it is ruled with an iron fist, I guess you could say. And now that people don't have, like, a hand around their fucking a noose around their neck telling them, oh, you got to believe in this religion. Like, okay, now you can think for yourself. Now you can live beyond a king or a god or a prophet or something, and, like, people just still refuse to do that. And I respect it, because, for all I know, you could be fucking right. For all I know, you could be damn well fucking right. And maybe I'm the idiot, I'm the blasphemer. I'm the dumbass that is not going to get into the pearly gates. But, I mean, they say God is like us, God is just like you. Well, in that case, then he would understand why I'm skeptical and why I refuse to believe this bullshit. And he would even know, like, yeah, a lot of that shit is bullshit, right? Like, a lot of this, he would know for years that his name, if he is real, he know his name was used for a lot of, like, false flags and lies, and for power grabs and all that shit. So, like, you can't tell me, like, we should believe in it, because that's what our ancestors believed in, and people have been believing it for thousands of years, Because where has that gotten us, And I know atheists, it's the same thing. It's no different, but it's like, this clearly isn't the answer. Like, we've been fighting over each other's God, someone else's God, and all this and that. When in reality, the best thing for humanity would just be to kind of band together and worship the human race and the existence in the future, which a lot of people don't do. Like, it seems like a no-brainer, like, oh, thanks, Captain Obvious, like, that's such a good idea. But it's like, you'd be surprised how many people don't do that. Or they'll, like, put God, or put their country, or put some bullshit above what is truly beneficial for long-term United States, and then the argument for that is like, well, other countries are doing this, and that, and in order to combat that, we have to do this, or other religions are doing this, and it's like, well, now you're just running in a circle because now they can use that as an excuse, and it's like it's all fucking stupid. Like, do you ever want to advance? Like, do you want to like blow up the fucking planet over religion or ideology, or do you want to fucking like travel colonies, like have generations on colonies? Like, people aren't teaching each other. They aren't doing this going about anything the right fucking way, and it's fucking stupid because this has been happening for thousands and thousands of years. And the thing that bothers me the most about it happening in, like, let's say 2026 or even any time post 1960s is like, you guys are educated. You guys have all the capacity in the world to learn anything, any question you possibly have. How is anything up for debate? And it's like, to me, it's very obvious. Like there cannot be a God because the whole, I mean, there could be a God, but it can't be God in that way because of the fact that it's so, like, off. You know, it's so like it just doesn't make sense in that way. Like, the way you're saying it, like, sure, the concept of a creator is not ridiculous, right? Everything comes from something, which is completely crazy, by the way, and we're gonna get into that right now. Everything comes from something, but like, we're gonna believe like this indoctrination that the king has used for, like, the king used for centuries, decades ago, or fucking, my bad, millennia ago, in order to subjugate a fucking huge range, a huge population of fucking peasants, like, fear and shit. Like, I'm sure they say it's the oldest religion, but who wrote that in, that's what they believed back then? Who put that all back in there? The elite, the wealthy, the educated, or and even all those are controlled by the elite and the wealthy. I'm sure that's happening today. I'm sure it was happening then, but people fail to realize that, and then they let themselves fall into this easy trap of, well, I'm sure my great 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 grandfather was a God-fearing man, so I'm gonna do the same. It's insane. It's like redneck shit. Like, what the fuck? Like, you don't want to break tradition? Like, your pappy was a fucking a slave owner, and you think he should be fucking, like, sure. God, we're getting into the fucking rabbit hole, but like, yeah, like that's your grandpappy or whatever. Like whatever. I'll give you that, but it's like, you got to acknowledge the mistakes. Like, every single person can acknowledge the mistakes of their parents, or if they refuse to, then now you're gonna end up making those same fucking mistakes, right? And there's nothing, everybody makes mistakes, so it's fine. But it's like, I don't know, like, how do you not fucking realize that the people that have come before us, wise as they may be, don't have everything right, so we shouldn't follow everything they do to a T. Because if I did, I wouldn't be doing this right now. I'd be like, no, this technology shit is blah, blah, blah. If we did that for generations, like, where the fuck would we be? We would never advance. And advancements that people that believe that we shouldn't advance are loving the fucking advancements right now. Like medicine. Like, imagine if we never advanced in medicine. All these fucking boomers that seem to be causing, like, a shit ton of problems in this country, or kind of being the greed and shit that they have. Like, we wouldn't... The same boomers that are saying that change is bad and we need to keep things the way they are the same ones that are benefiting from the change of our forefathers and of their generation as well. And it's like, well, you got to pick a fucking side. Now you're being a fucking hypocrite. But that's not what's important, right? This isn't really a political debate. This is a rant of my religious sort of lack of understanding. I'm not going to say religious understanding, but the lack of, because I don't understand. What the fuck am I supposed to believe, Like, science makes perfect sense, but then there's, like, fucking Jesus. Jesus was a real guy and actually existed, and, like, there's 4 gospels. There's 4 actual individual stories about his life in different parts, and they all kind of interweave and connect perfectly in a way that only, like, the best of fiction could, So it must be real, right? But, like, So this was just some guy from birth that was like a kid and convinced. They were like, yeah, you are the Messiah, blah blah blah, you are this and that, and like Virgin Mary, I know it's part of my it's not a sin, but it's like, well, no wonder you can't conceive, you can't understand that uh God conceiving a child with a virgin woman. Like, no wonder you can't understand that, because you refuse to, which is, yeah, sure, yeah, like, I'll give you that. Like, if you refuse to, if you but I'm not refusing to ignore, like, the validity of Christianity and shit. It's just like, I'm just thinking realistically, and I'm like, this shit just does not make sense. Like, for example, like, uh, Adam and Eve, right? Two beginnings, and then God created this and the heavens and the earth. But it's like, we have carbon dating and evidence and science backing up the fact that we know exactly when the universe was formed, how it was formed, right? Or I guess the planet, right? So it's just a bunch of fucking rocks and shit. And it's like, but no, God made that, or God was controlling the rocks. I think if there is some creator, like, he definitely created the composition to the music that is the universe, right? And that makes more sense than he created the earth, and then the second day he blooded. Like, no, like, we know exactly. Science knows exactly when the earth was created, and most of it. The only thing we can't, because we know we're eternally growing. So what, God's still creating, like, planets and shit and life and blah blah blah. He just gave up on us, right? Like, that doesn't make sense. But what is feasible is that he created the formula to make the world what it is now. And I don't mean just the planet, I mean the universe. Like, here we are in a fucking uh one planet, the universe. Here we are, years and years and decades later or whatever. I do think if there was a creator, then that's what it is. Whatever creator we may have, it's not Christian God or Catholic God or Muslim Muhammad or whatever sort of deity that we're supposed to worship. It just he just we don't know enough about him, you know, if that is true. And if not, like, until then, like, science has the best answers for us. And I'm not gonna get too into it. I'm running out of fucking footage here. But, like, science truly does have the best fucking idea of everything, I guess you could say. As in, like, okay, yeah, like, there is no sort of debate about it. We must have came from the apes. Like, it's the, like, well, first we all came from single cell organisms, and then those cells sort of, with enough time, I do believe evolution is possible, right? So, because adaptation is possible, which is just a smaller version of evolution. Like, with enough adaptations over, because adaptation takes what, like, 20 100 years. It just depends on where the animal is, and the conditions. But it's completely feasible. So over, thousands of years, like, oh yeah, yeah, you mean to tell me that evolution is impossible? Like, and why aren't we seeing monkeys turn into humans now? Well, it's not as simple as that. First of all, the monkeys are surviving the way they are. They don't need to. And I'm sure whatever it is that made us go from apes to humans isn't, like, sure, at this rate, I believe aliens came down, gave us knowledge, and then some of us, or fucking had sex with the apes and then made humans. Like, because nothing really, like, we are the bastard children of aliens and apes, because that makes more sense than fucking, that sounds more feasible. Why? Because the universe is infinite. Like, there is absolutely 0% chance that there is no other intelligent life out there. Have we not found it? This is true. Yes. Right? We have not confirmed it. But the universe is huge, and we are but a speck. And what we know is like a grain of sand on a beach. Like, we don't understand shit about it. Right? I gotta remind myself. This is not a political conversation. This is not a alien fucking ancient aliens fucking conversation. This is religion. And so what I was trying to say is, like, it's just not feasible. Like, the things that they expect us to believe, that they made generations before us believe to be subjugated, just does not jive
with my or jibe or whatever. It doesn't fucking work in my head,
And it's not because, I refuse or I don't want peace or I'm too stupid to understand it. It's that we don't have enough information to understand it entirely. So, and I'm aware of that. So I'm not gonna go and jump to a conclusion and think that I'm so righteous and I'm doing the right thing and all this when I just know in my heart it doesn't make sense. And I know to some people it does, and they like to say, well, you know, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for God and shit. And it's like, well, why are you giving God all the credit? Like, God has no part in this physical world, except the creation of it. He hasn't touched this. Like, maybe he designed this. This is a cosmic being we're speaking of, after all. Maybe he designed this thousand years ago and was thinking of every single individual person. But like, shit still goes left field. And what do they say when that happens? Oh, well, the devil's working hard. The devil does that. It's like, there is. If God is anything like us, then, which is hard to believe, but it, like, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Like, there would be no devil. The devil would be that a part of him that he has to suppress, and he fails to because he's human, or maybe he's God and he's perfect and he never lets that part get the best of him. But it's like, then he's not like us. Pause. Fuck. Um, but yeah, it just doesn't make sense. So I guess what I'm really trying to say is I'm just very confused. Like, science doesn't quite have it just because we haven't been studying, or we haven't had the means to understand the stuff as much as we do now. Like it's crazy how much we've advanced. Like, I'm surprised we're at the point we are now with the things we understand. But it's like, to Christians, it's like, oh, well, science doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about because they got that missing link, and this isn't happening and this isn't happening. Like, that's ridiculous. It's so fucking ridiculous to say science must be wrong because they're not there yet. Like, we are much further than we've ever been, and eventually there's going to be a day where Christianity is all but disproven, right? Because science has advanced so far. But until that day, man, what the fuck ever, like, till that day, it's gonna be a lot of confusion. I don't know. I think with the rate the human race is advancing, one day science will, because it's like a war, right? It's like science versus religion, and one day religion will be completely null and void because science will answer all the questions that religion contradicted or didn't make sense of or failed to actually solidify. Like, science is gonna get there. We're gonna see other life on other planets. We're gonna know how life forms on planets, right? We're gonna find some primitive planet with fucking little cells on it, and people think it's impossible because we haven't discovered it yet. Man, how many fucking, I don't even think we've been on another planet. Like, has there been a human on another planet? I have no idea. If there is, it's like 2 planets, and maybe 1 because the moon doesn't count as a fucking planet. And maybe we've been on Mars, but I don't think so. I'm pretty sure we haven't. So it's like, we've only been on one other planet, and then we have probes on other planets looking for signs of life and shit. So, all right, I'll give you that. So maybe 10. We've only checked for life on 10 fucking planets out of, God, it's probably more than fucking quadrillions, right? Like it's infinitesimally huge universe, right? Like, there is more planets than you can even fucking comprehend, right? More stars in the galaxy than grains of sand on the earth. Like, and we've discovered 10 and said, well, we are God's chosen people. That makes sense. God created the earth and didn't create, so all this other shit just doesn't fucking matter. Get the fuck out of here. Like, I truly believe that, like, unless somebody could break it down to me, all right, and I'm not trying to offend nobody when I say this, but like Christianity is really just cope. It's really just cope because you're like, you can't fathom the idea that we're here and our existence is so meager and pointless, because it really is, right? It is what you make of it. It's a freeing feeling and it's also a dreadful feeling, but like people can't cope with the fact that like there is nothing after this, right? Like you make this, whatever you make it, you get no second chances. Like I think that's why people are Christians, for a second chance. Like, oh, I really fucked up this life, but I've changed and I've turned to God, and I know in the future, oh, now my life is better because I'm making smart decisions. But no, that's God. That's all God. That God is the reason why my life is better now. And also, like, I can't wait for this next life where we're all gonna be happy, and like paradise earth makes no fucking sense, or heaven, whatever the fuck you might want to call it. Like, how the fuck do how many people have ever existed? I mean, we got 8 billion currently alive, but like probably like I was gonna say 100 billion, but like there's no way. I can't even fathom it. I can't even fathom how many people have existed. But like, imagine that number, this unfathomably large number, and then imagine all of those people that are righteous out of that whole number existing, or the people that deserve a second chance because they didn't understand the gospel, or didn't get to hear it. Like, imagine them all coexisting, or their souls, or whatever. Like, whatever it is, it's a higher plane than what it is now. So I don't understand it, right? But it's like that's fantasy land. Like, that's insane. Yeah, I guess that's the idea. It's heaven. That's what it's supposed to be. But like, truly, like, how do you think any of that would work? How the fuck is any of that supposed to function? We can't even function now as, there's no fucking group of even like 10 people that can get along. Like, I work with maybe 20 people max, and I hate one of them. Everybody has a problem with one guy, including me. Like, this one guy just fucking sucks, right? So you mean to tell me billions, tens of billions, or even hundreds of billions of people are going to coexist at the same time, and there's going to be no problem because it's going to be heaven, there's going to be no disease, and then there's going to be no this and no that? What's the point of existing if there's no sadness, pain, disease, death? Like, as evil, or as horrible as those concepts are, it's the cycle of life. It's the balance. Like, there must be, with death there is life, with sadness there is happiness, with pain there is euphoria, and it just doesn't make sense, to me. Oh fuck. Looks like we're getting a break in the weather. Did this shit stop? I don't know. It says it's stopped. Okay, but I'm gonna keep rolling, because let's say it's not stopped. But fine, I'll just check real quick. Okay, it did stop, but I resumed it, which is good because it captured all my thoughts, and I'm kind of just like free spitballing everything. That's how I do it. I don't fucking write nothing down. I just kind of say it at the top of my dome. But yeah, okay. I should probably wrap it up. Yeah, it just doesn't. It just makes no fucking sense to me. Like, the heaven, Adam and Eve, makes no sense. And then the contradictions whenever you question something, the timeliness of it doesn't make sense. The Virgin Mary, like it's all just a fantasy story, right? Blasphemy, I know, but like, with how close science is getting to the truth, like true science, right? Like, not like propagandized or agendified science. Like, true science is getting so close to so many truths, and has found so many truths, right? Like, compared to the more truths that science finds, the more it disproves like what God, what the Bible says, or what the Christianity as a whole stands for. And it's like, there it is right there. Like, that's, why would I keep believing in this thing that gets constantly disproven and is changed over time just to appeal to the audience that it's trying to subjugate, when there's the freeing and fucking like ever so clear idea of science, or concept that is, or the art of science. Art and science are two different things, but like, when you see the universe understood through science's eyes, it's like, okay, everything makes fucking sense. everything is actually coming together. It's one big beautiful puzzle, and you know, I don't know how people can keep denying it when time and time again shit just makes more and more sense. Like the Big Bang, you know, and life from nothing and fucking everything, man. Everything we've ever discovered about the world, like actually gotten down to science, chemistry, you know, shit like that. It's crazy. But I'm not gonna get too into it right now. I just want to talk about. I'd love to, if anybody would want me to, and I mean both sides. Like I'd love to get into some topics of religion or topics of, and like give honest feedback as well as topics of science and ask questions and shit. So I mean, if you want me to react on any sort of topics or ideas, please let me know. I'll go do some reading and come back, and with my notes I'll actually write some shit down so I'm not just babbling, or I'll just do it off the top of the dome again, and then that's how I kind of come off as my truest form and my purest thoughts. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap that up right there. I apologize to anyone I might have upset with the way I'm saying. I'm just a, in your eyes you should know I'm just a confused child of God, as we all are, if it is true. And that's why I don't fear like what I say is blasphemy or whatever, because it's like the answers aren't clear to me. If God is real, I'm sure he'd completely understand. Like, yeah, dude, like that shit makes no sense. Like they were fucking running my name through the mud just to fucking enslave people and this and that. Like, it's completely forgivable to be ignorant in a time where we don't have the answers, because we really don't. A lot of people like to say we do, we don't. We don't know shit. We still don't. Everybody likes to believe the first thing they hear. I'm aware I don't know shit. If you think you know what's going on, God save you, But, yeah, hopefully in the future, in my lifetime, I'll get some clarity on that. Obviously it's a personal journey, but maybe along the way, I'll kind of relay how it's going. But, yeah, I appreciate it. Appreciate you fucking listening to me yell at a microphone, at a fucking monitor on some Call of Duty gameplay for 30 minutes now. I really gotta start trimming down these videos, but once I get rolling, man, in the beginning it's a little bit of a slow burn, but towards the end I know exactly what I want to say, and each idea just strings so perfectly, and maybe not like fluidly, because I'm not writing it down. It's not poetic in any way, but it is really my truest thoughts, and it pours out just in the most natural sort of way for me. So I will get the hang of it, but definitely not at this rate. And another thing, like the consistency of like how often I upload is also pretty shit. Like I need to get that shit together, because I guess I woke up today, had a day off, looked at the schedule, or at the channel, and it's last video 12 days ago. Wow, dude, like you fucking suck. Like that was damn near 2 fucking weeks ago. And ideally I'd like to do once a week, so kind of bothers me that I'm slacking that hard. But hey, learning experience, the fact that I'm even doing it at all. Sometimes I just have to wait for an idea to grab me, like this conversation about religion just hit me, I think this Saturday, and it is now Wednesday, and I've been working since that day, so, I'm making it work when I can, but, that's about it. I do appreciate you hearing me yell in a fucking empty room, yell at myself for 30 minutes. I love you. Bye bye.